Ladies and gentlemen of the interwebs, we have reached levels of state-funded propaganda coming out of Canada that would make North Korea
green with envy.
Viva Fry, former Montreal litigator turned current Florida rumbler, in my home office with the beautiful Florida sun about ready to set. And I don't often get worked up for no reason. I'm joking. I often get worked up, but it's for darn good reason. I saw a video on the internet today. It actually made me red with rage. Is that even a thing? It enraged me so much, I sat there watching what was supposed to be 2 minutes of comedy, and I was sitting there not laughing, not only not laughing, stewing with anger at not just the levels of stupidity, but the state-funded propaganda going on behind this clip. If you don't know what This Hour Has 22 Minutes is, let me read you what is This Hour Has 22 Minutes coming out of Canada. Spoiler alert.
It's a shitty version of Saturday Night Live.
Totally unfunny Canadian version state-funded propaganda of Saturday Night Live. And when I say it's unfunny compared to Saturday Night Live, that tells you how unfunny This Hour Has 22 Minutes is. This Hour Has 22 Minutes is a Canadian satirical news comedy television show that uses sketches and commentary to parody current events. Created by Mary Walsh, the show features Toronto-based anchors and roving correspondents who provide a humorous take on headlines and news. From Wikipedia, This Hour Has 22 Minutes, commonly shortened to 22 Minutes since 2009, is a weekly Canadian television comedy that airs on CBC television. Launched in 1993 during Canada's 35th general election, the show focuses on Canadian politics with a combination of news parody, sketch comedy, and satirical editorials. Originally featuring Kathy Jones, Rick Mercer, Greg Thorney, and Mary Walsh, the series featured satirical sketches of the weekly news and Canadian political events. The show's format is a mock news program intercut with comic sketches, parody commercials, and humorous interviews of public figures. Now, the takeaway from this description is not the fact that it's not actually a comedy despite being passed off as comedy, it's that it's on the CBC network, the Canadian Broadcasting Corporation network. The CBC is a crown corporation that gets its funding annually, $1.6 billion in funding from taxpayer dollars, so it is state-funded propaganda. And they just put out a piece, I don't know if it was today, yesterday, they just put out a piece dealing with the Ostrich standoff in Edgewood, British Columbia. You know, the thing that I've been going crazy about for the last 6 months, give or take. They put out a piece, a 2-minute segment of comedy that is pure North Korean level propaganda. Now, for those of you who don't know what's going on with the ostriches, welcome to the channel, because I've been going nuts about it hard for the last month. Without getting into too much unnecessary detail, the ostriches. There's a farm in Edgewood, British Columbia, that had over 400 ostriches on the farm. The ostriches have been in the family for over 35 years. Recently, since COVID, they had been doing tests on the ostriches, and they had been working with a Japanese scientist to find antibodies in the ostrich eggs and the yolk. Beforehand, it was open to the public, but then COVID hit, and it was no longer open to the public. One thing that's for certain, none of these birds were ever for public consumption. So how the Canadian Food Inspection Agency gets involved and orders a kill order of all of the ostriches on this farm, that's a little bit beyond me, although I can sort of understand how the CFIA gets involved. But bottom line, December 2024, the birds get sick and something like 60 some odd birds die. 2 birds are tested by the CFIA, the Canadian Food Inspection Agency. They do an anal swab PCR test of 2 carcasses, determined that in December 2024, those 2 carcasses suffered from H5N1 avian flu, whatever the heck they're calling it. And the CFIA comes in and says, you got to kill each and every ostrich on this farm, even the 400 that survived the outbreak. The farm contests this administrative decision of this Soviet body, CFIA. They take it to the federal court. By May, we are now 5 months out of the original testing. The federal court comes down and says, yeah, the decision by the CFIA, it's an administrative body. They have their own expertise. It wasn't inherently unreasonable. And even though the birds have been healthy now for damn near 5 months, yeah, you got to go ahead and kill all of them as per the CFIA's cull order. The farm appeals that decision, takes it up to the Court of Appeal in Ottawa, and in August, we are now December to January, February, March, April, May, June, July, August, 8 months out of of the initial outbreak, 8 months of healthy ostriches on that farm, the Court of Appeal comes in and says, yeah, you gotta go ahead and kill those birds, even though they have been healthy now for 8 months. The farm appeals to the Supreme Court of Canada, and there has been an interim protective order issued so that they can't kill the birds in the meantime until the Supreme Court decides whether or not they take up the decision. If they take it up, the protective order stays in effect until they render a final decision. And if they don't take it up, that's where it ends. The protective order runs out and the CFIA can go in and kill those birds. But it hasn't prevented the CFIA from going in and trying to kill those birds. There has been a standoff on the farm for about a month now. The CFIA goes in with its intention to kill the birds. They are protected by what I'm referring to as the armed Gestapo agents, the RCMP, who have been doing nothing short of supervising animal abuse. I'll get to it in a second.
What a picture that is.
The RCMP is in there. There has been a standoff going on for a month now. The CFIA has been setting up what they call kill pens. They've been stacking bales of hay, something like 4 bales high, 2 bales wide, and they're building an enclosure, which I presume they're going to run all of the remaining ostriches into to slaughter them if and when they ever get the go-ahead to do it. But in the meantime, something like 100 ostriches are missing, and 1 ostrich has died under the custody of the CFIA from absolute neglect and torture. That ostrich's name was Spirit. It was suffering from dehydration. It was not being treated properly by the CFIA, who apparently don't know how to deal with ostriches. Not surprising. I mean, how many people know how to deal with ostriches other than, you know, the farm that's been dealing with the ostriches for 35 years? This ostrich wasn't doing well. It was dehydrated, neglected, and they were told at the CFIA that this ostrich will die if you do not administer electrolytes to the ostrich. The CFIA apparently didn't do it, and the ostrich did in fact die. Why is this relevant? It's going to come up in the video that we're going to analyze that came out of This Hour Has 22 Minutes.
And what did you use for taking temperature?
We just had
Sorry?
we just estimated based on our conditions, like yesterday she...
Oh, you estimated
yeah.
what her temperature was?
Yeah.
You didn't take
We
it?
did not take it tomorrow, we did not.
So, just looking at her, you can tell me that she's about 38.5 degrees? Is that what you're saying? Is she dehydrated?
Yeah, she is.
Okay, what's your solution for
well, I think
fixing the dehydration?
we can talk about that, but
No. What's your solution for that?
we're monitoring her water intake. Okay? That's what we're doing.
And how are you monitoring water intake?
Looking at what she's drinking.
And how many other birds have access to that water?
Yesterday we had them all out. This morning when we came in, they had broken through this gate. So
we're trying to protect her
we're trying to protect
anybody
her
else coming in.
from coming in to have the quiet.
Yeah.
Okay, so there's birds in here with her right now. So how much water do you think she has drank, and how much water have the other birds drank?
I'm not sure.
You're not sure. Okay. So I'm suggesting that she's not drinking. Look in her beak.
Yeah, she is dehydrated.
No, look in her beak.
I did this morning too.
And see that?
Yeah.
That's a bunch of dirt in her friggin' beak.
Taken from either.
There's no water.
No.
If she was drinking, it wouldn't look like that.
So what do you suggest?
I mean, it's wrong.
Yeah, she definitely needs tubing.
Yeah, probably that.
So there has been this standoff now. We are going into the 4th week where the CFIA is there building up their kill pen. The RCMP is there providing armed protection to the CFIA. Journalists are there, protesters are there, and we are supervising what's going on in as much as humanly possible. Something like 100 ostriches are unaccounted for, and we don't know where they are. The CFIA won't give a proper count of the ostriches, and the RCMP won't allow the farm owners to go in and do a proper count of their own animals. Set all that aside. I get sent a video today that Rebel News posted on Twitter of a 2-minute segment on This Hour Has 22 Minutes where they actually tackle the ostrich crisis, the ostrich standoff. And first things first, I say that if this finally made it to the attention of This Hour Has 22 Minutes and they felt the need to put out this 2-minute piece of utter rubbish propaganda, we have already succeeded to some extent in the court of public opinion bringing attention to this matter to the point where it finally got to the eyes of the propagandists at the CBC and This Hour Has 22 Minutes. But watch this clip. I'm going to pause it periodically and add my insights to highlight the insidious disinformation disinformation, misinformation, and state-funded propaganda in this to manufacture consent to misinform whatever idiots are still watching this dumbass show. I'm gonna pause it periodically, but my goodness, it is absolute insidious rubbish. And with that long intro rant and broader context, let us watch this 2 minutes of state-funded propaganda that makes Kim Jong-un think, holy crab apples, I need to take some lessons from the communist state of Canada.
The Supreme Court has delayed a planned execution of nearly 400 ostriches in British Columbia after an avian flu outbreak.
Pause it. Piece of propaganda number one, ambiguity on the timeline after an avian flu outbreak. Why don't you tell us, dear propagandist, dear bootlicker of government tyranny, when that outbreak was? If he had said that the outbreak was a year ago, any reasonable viewer would say,
Why do we need to kill these birds now?
but no, he doesn't offer that key piece of information. He lets you think that the avian flu outbreak, in as much as there ever was one, is contemporaneous, is recent, such that a reasonable viewer could say, yeah, I can understand why you need to kill sick birds. They have been healthy for a year. Omit that detail.
You filthy piece of propagandist rubbish.
Serenity now, and back to the video.
For more, I'm joined by ostrich farmer Elwood Coburn. Good evening.
Oh, hello. That's all right, girl. It's okay. Shh. That's okay. That's okay. Shh.
Oh, I'm sorry. Is your ostrich all right?
Oh, yeah, Bessie, she's all right. Just a bit scared because of all the media attention. That and a touch of bird flu. Ah!
Pause it, you filthy propagandist jackasses. Yeah, that and a little bit of bird flu. The birds don't have the bird flu. In fact, they've been healthy for a year. In fact, the farm has wanted to retest them. But in fact, the courts have actually prevented the farm from retesting the birds under penalty of massive fines or potential jail. They have not tested these birds since December 2024, and then the only two they tested were 2 dead corpses with anal swab PCR tests, from what I understand, cycled to 40. Many of you out there might know what that means in terms of potential false positives. But this guy comes out here and suggests to the general public, the dumb viewers of this stupid show, that the birds are infected with the avian flu. Lies, lies, lies. State-funded lies on state-funded propaganda. This is why you need to defund the CBC. Serenity now, back to the video.
Are you okay?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yes, to be expected. There, that's a good girl. That's a good girl. That's a good girl.
I think that ostrich is sick.
Bessie? No, she's not sick. She's just an arsehole. Ah!
Pause it. I think that ostrich is sick. How the hell does he think that bird is sick? First of all, the bird is not sick. They haven't been sick in a year, but they're letting everybody think. They're casting that seed of doubt into their idiot base audience that the birds are sick and therefore need to be killed. It gets even worse if you can imagine it.
The Canadian Food Inspection Agency says the ostriches need to be destroyed. They allege that you haven't been taking good care of the birds.
Pause it. I'm relatively familiar with the lawsuit in its entirety. I've been following it for about 6 months right now. Nowhere have they alleged that they were not treating the birds properly. What they've alleged is that the farm is not following through on the CFIA instructions to kill and the quarantine measures, potentially. That's what they're alleging. Nowhere have they alleged that the farm owners have been mistreating or not properly caring for these birds. It's just an outright lie. Not only to depict these birds as being sick, which they are not, but to depict the farm owners as mistreating the animals. The only people mistreating and abusing these animals are the people at the CFIA, as evidenced by the fact that Spirit died under their custody. Let's get to that part right now.
How dare they? What's this country coming to if a man can't keep to himself and raise 400 ostriches? I'm not going to stand by with my head in the sand. The CFIA has these birds worried sick. Thanksgiving was just the other day, and these ostriches were so upset they barely touched their turkey.
Okay, but some famous American politicians have gotten involved. Robert Kennedy Jr. has asked for the birds to be studied, not killed. Dr. Oz offered to rehome the birds on his Florida ranch.
Florida? What do you think we are? Nuts? Bessie has bird flu, not mad cow disease.
It's not funny. It's not only not funny, it's actually scary. There are going to be people who are going to watch this and come away thinking, firmly believing that the birds have the avian flu, that the birds are sick. It's actually totally insidious. Just remember it. I'll say it over and over again. The birds are healthy. They've been healthy for damn near a year right now, and the CFIA is preventing the farm from retesting them under penalty of fines and jail. But the state-funded propagandists have got their eye on this because it got a certain amount of attention because RFK Jr. and Dr. Oz have showed an interest in saving those birds' lives. And so they've got to deceive the general population who still watches that show that the birds are somehow sick, which they're not. And then they go and insult Florida as if Canadians don't travel to Florida, as if snowbirds from Quebec don't come down to Florida. I hear more French here than I hear in Montreal sometimes. Demonize and lie about the birds. Demonize and lie about the farm owners, and then demonize Florida as if a ton of Canadians don't come down to Florida to drink that sweet, sweet Florida orange juice, to bask on the beaches, to enjoy the nightlife of Miami. These people are truly idiots, but beyond idiots,
They are evil.
Okay, but the court order says that since the outbreak began, some 70 ostriches have died. And didn't another ostrich die just last week?
I'm actually at a loss for words to describe this evil. I mean, I can only say insidious and evil that many times before the words themselves start to lose a bit of their impact. Since the outbreak began, the outbreak has been over for damn near a year. And didn't one of them just die? Yes, because you just killed one of them. Tom McDonald in one of his songs has the great lyrics, "They kill you and then they broadcast it and make it the news." The CFIA literally killed that ostrich. They didn't just kill that ostrich, they tortured it before they finally killed it a week ago, and now they take that dead ostrich that they killed and they pass it off as the need to slaughter the rest of them. It's actual evil. It's the banality of evil. They're just making it look like jokes on This Hour Has 22 Minutes.
Well, we still have 399 healthy ostriches. That's 398 birds who have nothing wrong with them. There's 397 birds with a right to live, and if the government has their way, there won't be 396 birds left. They want to kill all 395 birds. Well, I plan to save all 394 of them. Bessie! Bessie! Bessie, girl, talk to me! Mouth to beak!
Is she...
Bessie! 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 Ah!
Good luck with the case.
Hardy freaking hard. If you found that as unfunny and intellectually insulting as I did, take a minute right now to make sure that you are subscribed, turn on notifications, and share this video with someone who you think would like it, and share it with someone who you know would not like it because they probably need to see it the most. But my final thoughts on all of this: you just watched 2 minutes of government-paid propaganda that misinforms, misleads, and manufactures consent among the general population of people who are stupid enough to believe any of that. People are going to believe that the outbreak is ongoing.
The outbreak is not ongoing.
People are going to believe that an ostrich just died for reasons related to illness. An ostrich did not die for reasons related to illness. An ostrich died because the CFIA goons
Killed it.
People are going to think that the birds have somehow been tested recently because they've been led to believe the outbreak has been current. In fact, the birds have not been tested since last year, and then only 2 of them were tested, and the farm owners have been forbidden from testing the birds under penalty of massive fines or jail. I wonder why they would not want the birds to be tested again. Might it be because the public would realize these birds are not sick, this has nothing to do with the virus, this has to do with total government control, and oh yeah, satisfying the World Organization of Animal Health Agreements, also known as WOA, and how we have submitted national independence to globalist institutions. But please share this video around and go let the folks at This Hour Has 22 Minutes know that you do not appreciate the insulting disinformation that they are putting out there, the state-funded propaganda. Go let the government know, send emails, I don't know, voice your opposition to this abject insanity. But my goodness, at the very least, understand that it exists, understand that they are manufacturing consent even in this day and age, and that some people who are still in this silo of government disinformation are in fact being swayed by it, and they don't even know it. So that's it. This Hour Has 22 Minutes. You suck crap, and I hope you know it. If you like what I do, you know what to do. But most importantly, exercise, eat healthy, sunlight. Go get some of that beautiful Florida sunlight. It's an amazing place. Florida, it's a hell of a drug. Taylor Swift, you know what I'm talking about. Booyah!